Hi, everyone. I am Mike Cammarata. I am a certified financial planner and partner at Tide Creek Financial Group. We are a boutique financial planning firm located in Columbia, Maryland. We generally operate within the Mid-Atlantic in terms of our client base, but we have clients nationwide. My friend Russell and I, we had this idea that we should get together maybe once a month to discuss some sort of business topic from both a financial planning perspective as well as a legal perspective. Russell and I, we've been meeting, yeah, pre-COVID face to face, during COVID virtually, just to catch up and talk about things. And we said, there's a lot of good conversation that we have when we get together. Why not share it? So here we are. Russell?
That's right. For those who don't know, my name is Russell Berger. I'm a partner at the law firm of Offit Kurman, where we represent small and medium-sized businesses, owner-operated businesses, and private families of wealth. And I concentrate on labor and employment law, but generally I represent businesses and the individuals that own and operate those businesses. And just like Mike was saying, one of my big focuses in my practice is to be holistic and try to think of the things the clients aren't thinking about that could get them in trouble or could create problems down the road, so that we can proactively address them when it's an easy fix before the house is on fire. So with that in mind, this made a lot of sense because Mike and I have these conversations. Oh, I wish clients were thinking about this. I wish clients were doing this now. So we thought we had these conversations anyway. We should record them and share them. And so with that in mind, today's topic is succession planning, and which is the perfect topic for planning for the future and the unknown, the certainty of the unknown that might come. So, Mike, you want to start us off on that?
Yeah, sure. So I personally come from a small business owner household, and that's the environment I grew up in. The topic that we decided to talk about today was succession planning. Russ and I were talking before we started recording, and we're like, well, you think about becoming a business owner, like what does that cycle look like? And at the very beginning, as a business owner, you're not thinking about succession planning. You're thinking about how do I show a profit? So this is certainly something that new business owners or startups, they're not thinking about. But it's like you look up and 5 years, 10 years have passed by, and now you're running a business. You have employees, you have payroll, you have all these things. So it's very common for a business owner to not even think about succession planning because the whole time leading up to some point, all you've been thinking about is how do I run my business and how do I make payroll? So we felt like this was a good topic to start our video series with. So that's what we want to do today is really highlight some things that business owners should be thinking about in terms of their succession planning. Both Russell and I, we work with business owners all the time. We sometimes are just helping them with putting out fires or, addressing the pain point that is currently happening. But both Russell and I, we really encourage owners to sit down, take a moment and say, what is it that I want for my business? And at some point, I'm going to exit my business, whether it's voluntary or involuntary. I'm not going to be able to run this business forever. And we encourage our clients to think about these things. That way we can make sure that their wishes are met in the event that something happens, whether it is voluntary or involuntary.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And from the legal standpoint, it's making sure the documents in place. It's making sure, probably more operationally that the people are in place. Because to piggyback on what you said, Mike, now you've built this business, you've grown this business, you have a lot of value in this business, and at some point you want to take that value out, whether it's passing it along to future generations or it's because you want to retire and buy a boat and sail around the world or whatever it is you want to do in retirement. So coming up with a tactical plan to achieve that goal is critical. And I for one think, that involves either preparing for a sale or preparing for a transition, so someone can step in and run the business. So that's identifying people on your staff now that can step into those leadership roles or the leadership role. When it comes to sale, it's, are you taking steps now? If your plan is to exit in 5 years or 10 years, there are things you can be doing now that will set you up for that. And it doesn't mean you have to be doing a ton of stuff, every day with that in mind. But are you getting your ducks in a row? Are you cleaning up your records? Are your corporate records tightened up? Is your intellectual property protected? Are your employment practices where they need to be? Have you done all these things to make your business more attractive? You know what the numbers are, but have you cleaned up some of these issues so that it's easy for a buyer to come in and say, yeah, the books look good and the process looks good. There's not a whole lot of risk with this. I'm willing to pay a little bit more for this business, or I'm willing to close a little bit faster or with a little bit less due diligence because they've already made it easy for me. And again, there's an opportunity to really create some value in there.
Totally agree, Russell. From a financial planning perspective, when we're doing planning with business owners, we really have to have them think about tying their business into their personal plan. So, I mean, most business owners, the business is number one, providing an income and a lifestyle for them personally. So, there are people relying on that income when it comes to the personal side. And then from the business aspect, if the leader or a key person exits the business, how does that impact all of the rest of the employees? So we really encourage business owners to think about these things. And what you were mentioning from the sale of a business, for a lot of business owners, their business is their retirement plan. The way that they're going to be able to meet their lifestyle in retirement is from the sale of that business. So when we're doing financial planning with folks, we have to come up with some hypothetical number when it comes to what they expect to net from their business. And that is so key in terms of the financial planning aspect of things, because this is your nest egg. Now, we encourage business owners to do other things, not just invest everything into their business, but diversify. But having that goal, having that plan, doing the things that you talked about, Russell, executing within your business in terms of the operations, the growth, the sales numbers, et cetera, that's going to make for a more attractive business at the time that you want to sell, which means you're going to get a higher lump sum or a higher payout when you go to retire. And that is just so important to start planning for these things. Like you said, 5 years, 10 years out. You don't want to be doing this planning 1 year before you exit your business.
Yeah, yeah. There will be too much work, and you won't be able to. Maybe you can, but it's a lot of work in a short amount of time to put yourself in that most attractive path. And like you said, from the financial planning standpoint, you're behind the eight ball because you're just waiting till the last minute.
Right.
So yeah, so I think that's a good place to leave it, Mike. It's my big takeaway is, if you own a business, you're going to exit the business sooner or later, and you want to do it on your terms in the most efficient way possible. So best to kind of come up with what that game plan is, and then just start following it. And hopefully it's not too much in too short a period of time.
Absolutely. Couldn't
All
agree.
right. Thanks, Mike. Talk to you next time.
Hi, Russell.